Yo!
What's up, everyone?
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to an all-new episode of Nerd Up. Today's big topic will be how to fix the SnyderVerse. Now, look, we're all big fans of Zack Snyder's DC trilogy, and his universe, but there are some things that he missed, and there were some things that made it hard for the everyday fan to kind of grasp what the hell was going on. So we're going to go through and kind of talk about that and where the SnyderVerse kind of went wrong and where it could have been better. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But we're also going to talk about a bunch of movie news like we always do. Ryan, before we do that, how was your day? How is the campaign going for the Nephilim?
It is going...
we got breaking news!
Just in. Hold on. I'll have to call him back. Can I talk to you later? I like those.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can I call you later?
Yeah. No, my day is going pretty good. It's very busy, as you can see. I am working on the pages, getting them print ready. So I'm maybe halfway done with the comic in that regard. It's not I'm just finding little things here and there, just kind of buttoning it up, doing a little bit of QC. I've already, gone through it and checked all the spelling and punctuation, all that kind of stuff.
Now, for you guys at home, QC means quality control.
Quality. Show your quality.
Everyone's very, very happy about that.
I appreciate it. But yeah, I should have it done very soon. Campaign is going well. If you have not got your copy of the comic book, it is still available. Just go to zevercomics.com. Again, it is zevercomics.com. It's right there in the down below, and you'll be able to reserve your copy. It's inexpensive, but it is a very, I want to say, my art is the fucking bomb, dude.
I thought you were gonna say it's inexpensive, but it's also expensive. So there we go.
It can get expensive if you keep adding on the add-ons. So yeah, it can get very pricey. But it's worth it, and I stand behind it, and let's freaking go, dude. And I'd like to thank my co-host for backing the comic book as well. So it is no. I have to say this.
He didn't have to.
It makes it's a warm feeling I get when I see someone that I know.
Now you just made it weird when you did the voice. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm done. Okay. So
how was your day? No, hold up. How was your day?
It was good. Yesterday was my
birthday.
Let's go
with I guess the first bit of movie news that we're
yesterday was my birthday, and so yesterday,
congratulations, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Today I turned the old ripe age of yesterday actually, the age of 44.
Ooh.
Yeah. It just gets worse. The older you get, the worse it gets. It doesn't feel any better. It's just further down the hill you go.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess that's what it is when you become an adult.
Atrophy kicks in. You start losing your mind.
Superman doesn't believe in Santa, according to James Gunn.
Superman.
This is the dumbest thing I ever seen. Someone said, "Does Superman believe in Santa in the DCU?" No, he's an adult. Who asked whoever the fuck this is, Divine Pink? You're a fucking idiot, and so are you, James Gunn.
I did not see that. I didn't need to see it.
So dumb. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off the show by watching the trailer, the newest trailer for Ryan's most anticipated movie of the year, The Mandalorian and Grogu. He's so excited. He hasn't seen this yet.
I have not seen this.
A live reaction from Ryan Zeverfett. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and let's check out The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Let's see.
Oh, wait. There it is. Go.
Oh, okay. Is this Apocalypse Now again?
Hey, never touch the buttons.
It's got yellow on it.
Coruscant.
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a hut.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
More snow troopers. Are they not snow troopers yet?
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
Fly now? Oh my god.
What are you waiting for?
Dude hijacked the other kid's fucking ride?
Let's save the rest for after dinner.
So funny. So funny. He has a macaroon.
All right. First thoughts of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Go.
I'll sit this one out. As far as like going to the theater, I won't be going to the theater to see this. I'll watch it on Disney Plus on somebody else's account. It is not worth my time. It looks stupid.
They look stupid.
I'm tired of it. Like, yes, this is still Kathleen Kennedy's kind of run. This is something that was shot, while she was still active in there and all that. So we can't give, Filoni and the other lady, any real criticism from this yet. I mean, you can go back and like modify stuff, but I'm sure I have to be honest. I think that, it wasn't completely solely Kathleen that was the issue. I think it's just all of them. I think every single Lucasfilm / Disney employee is just like, this is my paradigm. This is how I view the world, and let's just make silly movies and make them stupid. So whatever. Not really too interested in this. It had some cool, like, of course, it's high production value. You've got, all the Disney Lucasfilm money behind it. It looks impressive, but the action, the story, the parts that are supposed to be cute or funny didn't really resonate with me. I was just like, bro, I think you said it the other day when we were on the phone, talking about how, like, if this was the sort of reintroduction of Grogu versus, throwing him back into season 3 and this coming off of the heels of season 3, which was such a letdown.
Yeah, it was.
From season 1 and season 2. Season 1 and season 2 were actually fairly entertaining. But then season 3 came out and it was ridiculous. And it was like, okay, well, what are we going to do with Grogu now that he's back? Well, let's just make him ride an IG-88 and all that. And just kind of, or IG-11 or whatever it was. And it was just like, he looks like Krang from the, freaking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because he was like in the midsection of the robot or the droid or whatever you want to call him. And it was just dumb. And now that they've got the Razor Crest back, it's like, what's the point? What's the point of anything in Star Wars? So I don't know. Not too sure. What do you think?
Well, Mask of Shy says the photography is looking bland again, weird. When the first season of Mandalorian was so great looking, I agree. I think that when you had a chance to do season 3 of The Mandalorian, where he goes back to Mandalore, and you're focusing on restoring Mandalore, back to its glory, giving it back to them. My heater was like oscillating. I think you had a really good opportunity to just have Din Djarin, Mando.
No, everyone knows him as Mando.
Mando, I know. They're like, no, his name is Din Djarin. Well, it's great.
Well, it's funny, like we were saying right before we even got live, it's called The Mandalorian and Grogu. So it's his name. They used to call him the Child, but why isn't it Din Djarin and Grogu? Because nobody knows who the fuck Din Djarin is.
They don't know who he is. They only know who the Mandalorian is. So I think that, you had a great chance to run to season 3 where it's just the Mandalorian, Din Djarin going back and doing the whole thing by himself, and with the other Mandalorians, that would have been really cool, you know. And it could have been a little more tougher. It could have been a little more darker. But instead, you can tell that they were like, well, we gotta have Grogu in it. What do you mean, like? And so they kind of shoehorned him back in, and then to me, he never really felt like a big part of the season. He just felt like he was there for the ride.
He was just there because they were afraid that no one would tune in without Grogu there, because they felt like.
But that's the problem, though. Yeah, I guess.
So they shoehorned him into a story where he didn't belong, and then to keep the story, you know, kind of moving along, they put him in that droid so he could keep up with everyone else. Because he's this little creature that has, like, you know, he can either hop or he, you know, semi float, or, you know, or he has one of those little baby baskets that he look in the trailer. He's in the baby basket thing again,
which can go like 60 miles an hour. I guess he's using the Force.
The little Rodian toddler. I guess he's using the Force. I have to say he's using the Force.
He has to. Yeah, he has to be. But no, for me, this trailer was were there parts of it I thought looked cool? Yes, but there was a lot of parts that were silly, that were stupid, and that again, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And to be honest, I think a lot of it was, we got to make sure the kiddos can watch this. We got to make sure that the kiddos are going to laugh when they watch this, because this is their Star Wars now. It's the same concept as when you heard the head of theme parks over at Disney, when they were building Galaxy's Edge, that Kathleen Kennedy told them, we don't want to focus on having like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo walking around. We want to focus on what's ahead, because there's so much more that's coming. And so that's why all you see is sequel trilogy characters walking around, even though Han Solo was in it, but you don't ever see his character walking around. And so again, when you get to this, they're solely focused on, how do we appeal to our forward audience, our new audience, the kids? We got to get the kids in the theater, because, you know, kids these days, they can't watch stuff that's obscene or has bad words or is violent. James Gunn doesn't seem to give a shit, but and not that I'm applauding him at that, because all his shit has like fart jokes and dicks and all kinds of weird shit. But I think, you know, different parts of this trailer I felt like could have been or going to be really cool. But every time it came back to Grogu, it just seemed very childish. And yes, I'm talking about like a 1 foot, you know, whatever the fuck creature he is. Looks like Baby Yoda. But still, it's you know, he's wearing like a plate of armor on his chest, and he's strapping it on. It's kind of like, look, dude, if he was gone for season 3, and then in this trailer they hint that he's going to return, I'd be way more excited. The fact that he's there from scene 1, to me, it's like, okay, you're going to try and be a bounty hunter badass gunslinger, but you got a stuffed animal walking around with you. It's kind of like that doesn't mean anything. And why the fuck?
You're gonna rule with respect.
And why the fuck does he have the Razor's crest? It got blown up. He got another one.
It got blown up. It's just like if Han Solo lost the Millennium Falcon, but then got another, you know, vehicle. I forget what they're called. The ship that run the Kessel Run. It is
the Millennium Falcon.
No, but the type of ship it is YT something. Anyway, what Carillion cruiser. Cruiser. If I think that's it. If he were just to get
it's a Carillion cruiser, just to let you know.
To replace the one he lost, I'm like, bro, why do you have to have the same ship? It's like, man, I thought it was dumb, and I know you liked it, but I thought it was dumb that they retrofitted the episode 1, you know, fighter. I liked the episode 1 fighters. I thought it was just like silly for them to do that and then give him like a little bubble to sort of put, you know, Grogu in, you know, like you said, he's a stuffed animal. He's an afterthought. And they just think that he is such this great character that everyone loves and holds dear. And they're like, this is going to get the women in the seats. This is going to get the little girls in there. They're going to bring their plushies in, and they're going to sit the plushies, and they're going to buy a ticket for the plushie so the plushie can watch the movie with them when they're watching The Mandalorian and the Child, or I'm sorry, The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. Oh, I'm sorry. The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Grogu. His name is Grogu.
Dude, their marketing for this from the jump, dude, has been just horrible. It's bad. The way that they have treated this little franchise, I call the Mandalorian thing its own thing. It's its own little franchise. It's like it's a little, that's your package thing. See you later. And that's kind of what these things are, is that they are teasing that they're going to finally connect in some sort of Ahsoka show or whatever, another movie or something like that. But it's like, bro, at the end of the day,
they don't know.
Does anybody know what's going on over there?
They don't know what's going on. That's the problem. Is that you brought in Dave Filoni. He started creating content. He made Ahsoka. You had the seasons of The Mandalorian that had Ahsoka in it. Leading up to the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
Now there was some issues with Ahsoka, but generally I liked it. I thought it felt more cinematic. It felt like the story was a little more fleshed out. The whole thing about what's her face being force sensitive. Dumb,
I didn't like that.
Dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like the concept that they keep trying to shove down your throat is that anyone can be a Jedi. Anyone can be a Force user. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's dumb. It's for specific individuals
that have a specific connection to the midichlorians, to the Force,
exactly.
to the wills, to something.
Yeah.
It's not every single creature, because in Star Wars there is an innumerous amount of characters, creatures that are, look at Coruscant. Like, I'm sorry, but if anybody could be a Force user, look how many Force users could be there on Coruscant.
Everywhere.
Why is
They're
it?
like,
You could have people that could barely, just like Jude Law, who can barely use the Force and steal things and do all that. It's like the Force is supposed to be something mystical, like something like mythic. And that's why when Han Solo was in the first or the fourth film rather, he was like, yeah, it's just a some sort of mystical thing that nobody really saw or cared about. If Disney had their way, Han Solo would have always known what the Force is. Like, oh yeah, my kid brother used that. Everybody uses it. It's nothing. It makes it not special. It just reminds me of the the Incredibles, with Syndrome, when he's like, when everybody has the Force, no one has the Force,
I just had to go to Sacramento and work at another location to help him out, and there was a guy there, dude. He looked just like Frozen.
Oh no, Frozen. Where's my super suit?
I was like, oh my god. What was her name that Ahsoka was training? What was her name?
You don't. I have no idea.
I don't know why I can't remember the name of the character. I'm trying to look it up.
I don't know. Just another lady that doesn't really matter.
Another lady friend.
That's what they did. They were like, hey, the Force is female, and so is our cast. Just everyone has to be female. Everyone, and we talked about this in length about, like, if you look at the Imperials, they're not hiring overweight females and overweight males to
like
be
in Andor season 2.
Yeah,
big fat black lady was like with a huge butt. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not Walmart, okay? This is not
it's
Costco. This is not.
This is a regiment. This is
she passed basic training.
She passed.
Come on!
I'm sorry, but
it was
Palpatine
so
was
obvious.
Like,
it was so obvious when you saw it. It was so obvious. He was like, "Well, there we go. There's the woke DEI right there, right in your fucking face." I'm sure even what's his face, the guy who played fuck, I'm blanking on everything right now. Diego Luna was probably like, "Who the fuck is this lady?"
He was like, "Okay,
right
we're doing this. I guess.
I guess we're doing it.
Season 2.
So.
welcome the thick ones." But yeah, that didn't make any sense, because they're supposed to be more militant, more, like you said, basic training. There's no way she could have passed it. It just, that's the suspension. Sabine, very forgettable.
Sabine. Like, it'd be one thing if she was trying to be force sensitive, and then I would have made it to where, like, she tried to move the cup. The cup didn't move. She tried to move something else. She thought she was doing it. She wasn't. She should have never have moved anything. In the entire season. And then maybe later on she moved something like a hair. And it shows you
I wouldn't
like,
even do that. I wouldn't even do that.
I wouldn't
I would
either.
make it every single time she tried to move it, it was because of something else, like an accident.
And that's
like,
funny.
Like the ship tilted or something, and she got the cup.
But what I'm saying is that if there was a mandate that she had to show force ability, I would have shown something at the end of season 2 where she barely moves something a little bit, you know what I mean? And then it's kind of like, okay, that's all you're gonna get. And that's all I would give her. Like, I'm not gonna have you levitate a character.
Ever since they fucking brought in Broom Boy, it's just been gone downhill, dude. It's just,
and I can't stand these fucking fans who are like, I love The Last Jedi. That's the best Star Wars. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry. Look, I go on a deep dive in Twitter sometimes, or X, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm looking at things like, how do you know? There's these people that like post this. How do we feel about the Flash movie? And then I start looking in the comments. They're like, that was an excellent movie. That thing gets so much hate. There was just hate bombs. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, who are these people that are liking this stuff that doesn't? It just that is not well thought out. And it's just sort of like, it's just content for the masses. It's just vomited out. Back in the day, dude, you know, it used to be that, they went through drafts and they, they had writing that was, pretty, I mean, not every movie is flawless, but it was, oh God. but it's not like today.
This is a what do you call it? Like an icon for Disney Star Wars. This is one of their beats. Anyone can be a Jedi. You know what I mean? It's not just Skywalkers. It's not just men. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're missing the point.
Yeah,
you're missing the point. Go ahead.
We had plenty of female characters in episode 1, 2, and 3 that were Force sensitive. And that's fine. But it's got to be a select group of individuals.
I just thought it was weird
anybody who wants it.
That Sabine was even being trained as a Jedi. She was a Mandalorian. They should have leaned into that, into her abilities, into her weapons, and that should have been her thing. Not like, hey, let's make her a Force user. Yeah. Let's give her a lightsaber. Let's let her get stabbed, but she won't die.
But it's just like Finn. It's like, hey, you know what? We can make him Force sensitive.
That was dumb. That was dumb. He should have been in a fucking fighter jet fighting alongside Poe, or God forbid, when fucking Lando showed up, he should have just been with Lando and been one of the gunners or something.
What, the two black guys have to hang
Put
with
them
each
together.
Other?
No.
No. Well, no, he should have been, since he was a stormtrooper, he should have been somebody's like detail. Like maybe he became Princess Leia's bodyguard or something like that, right?
Yeah,
or maybe he's forever Poe's gunner or something like that, because he has
it's Poe Dameron is what it is.
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Ray! Did you see the Super Bowl trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu?
No.
You heard about it though, right?
No.
It's supposed to be like
the one we watched. I thought was the newest.
No, well, no, it's not a trailer. It's a commercial. It's like a
no. I haven't seen.
It's like no, you did see it. Remember you posted pictures of it with the tauntauns.
Oh, no. I saw the picture of it on X. And so I posted about the tauntauns. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Why are we putting tauntauns and roping them together like the fucking Budweiser Clydesdales?
That's what they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be a knockoff of that.
I was like, that's so... And that's the vibe I got when I saw it, because I was like, what are we doing here? Well, I hope that's not in the movies.
When Lucasfilm has to... the marketing brand leader reaches out to kind of clarify what they were doing, you fucked up. He says, our creative and marketing team landed on a unique concept that gave a nod to the classic big game spots of past years or years past. It captured the warmth, humor, and emotional connection. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You fucked up big time, because wanna know why? Because you made it look like Star Wars can't even take itself seriously. We're gonna do a parody commercial to promote the Mandalorian Grogu. We couldn't just show you a trailer. We couldn't give you an epic action-packed trailer that was like, fuck yeah, I want to see that shit. No, you had to make a joke out of it. And for that, you should be fired, because you're fucking terrible.
It was
terrible
probably
at your
a
job.
whole bunch of morons sitting at a table, and they had, that little powwow, and they're just like, hey, you know what? Let's just brainstorm, throw out ideas. And somebody vomited this out, and everybody else started, they were high-fiving and slapping ass. And this is what you got. Yeah. like fucking seals. I'm sorry. It's just stupid. Yeah. Somebody should have got slapped. Yes. What the fuck are you?
It's a gong. But it was just so bad. And if you have to issue like a statement kind of talking about it, it was just like, shut the fuck up. You're a fucking idiot.
It's like when you tell a good joke, but you got to explain the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a good joke.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our next bit of news. Did you hear about this shit? The search or the hunt for Ben Solo. I guess the director or the guy who wrote the movie was all pissed off because they didn't actually they canceled the movie.
Isn't this a prequel?
No, this takes place after.
What? Didn't
the
he
Rise
die?
of Skywalker. That's the whole point.
What?
So it says here, it was no surprise that she was frustrated. He told BKM, whatever, some magazine, of Kathleen Kenney's reaction. We were all frustrated. You know, that was 2.5 years of free work for me and Adam and Rebecca Blunt. When Adam and I discussed him talking about it publicly, I said, look, do not editorialize or speculate about why. Just say what happened, because all we know is what happened. The stated reason was we don't think Ben Solo could be alive. And that was all that we were told. And so there's nothing more to do about it, you know, except move on.
Okay. I mean, that's the most sense I think Disney has ever made. I don't see a reason for Ben to be alive. He's dead.
He's dead. But there was a whole thing, I guess, in the comics where like he sort of came back.
Well, because they're trying to fucking do something with the shit they made.
Well,
what they made was this
up.
crap sequel trilogy, and they have no idea where to spin off. Nobody wants a Rey film. That's why they keep throwing it in there. What about Rey? People care about it now. Well, what about a Rey film? Is now a good time? It's like nobody cares about these sequel trilogy characters.
Nobody cares.
I'd watch a movie maybe about BB-8 just on his own excursions. I could care less about any other character that you've brought in. All these characters from the sequel trilogy suck, from Holdo to fucking Snoke. It doesn't matter. They are horrible characters. They are underdeveloped and should never be seen again. We don't need to see these characters again.
But
if you do a Star Wars episode 10, if you do episode 10, like give us like an old lady Rey, like, you know, maybe in her 60s, and she's passing the baton to competent people.
If Luke Skywalker was still alive, then to me, making the next movie would be more entertaining because you're like, yeah, I want to see what
actually
Luke should have been the Yoda of this new Jedi Council. Instead, you're like, Rey is going to lead the new Jedi Council. She's fucking not even a Jedi.
She's not a Jedi. She was never a Jedi Knight. She has books that she stole from Luke, and that's it. And it's like, okay, so what are we doing here? This is dumb. And then if you know, I say that if you wanted to. Spaceballs would be.
That would have been a better. See, that would have been a better commercial. That'd have been like, yeah, that makes sense. A parody of a parody.
Exactly. But what you should have done was just if Luke can will himself out, he can will himself back, and just have him come back. I'd be like, you know what? If this erases the bullshit that you gave us, and we can go forward and do something different,
you can't erase it. They're never going to. We're stuck with the sequel trilogy. We're stuck with it. The hunt for Ben Solo, not the hunt for Red October, but the hunt for Ben Solo. Now I was reading about this because I was like, well, what was the fucking plot of this? Like, what was the point, right?
The point was to make money.
Well, obviously, but it was kind of like, what was the plot? I don't understand. Where was it? I read it somewhere. It was basically like he was going to live and then it's just fucking dumb. Let me see. I kind of made a movie in my head. Okay, yeah, I read that part. I found somewhere where it talked about a possible plot for the movie, because it's called The Hunt for Ben Solo. I guess it's him trying to refine himself. You know what I mean? And you know, traveling and. To me, Rey should have been.
Was he gonna find another fucking wayfinder? And we gotta, see, he's going from planet to planet. And
Rey and Finn hunting him, finding out he's still alive and trying to find him.
They should be gone.
Something. Well, you have to do something. You have to keep the characters going. You can't just be like, okay, we're gonna do Kylo Ren, but we're not gonna acknowledge the other characters. We're done.
Yes, please. Like ignore.
You can't.
You have to. You have to.
Good luck.
That's why they scrapped it, because they couldn't figure out how to do it without ignoring the characters that nobody cares about. And John Boyega's like, well, you ain't gonna Disney Plus me, so okay, well, he's out. So
so that Adam Driver felt like there was some unfinished business for the character after his death in Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker. Driver shared a concept story with director Steven Soderbergh, the director who's been talking, to continue a solo story. Afterwards, where did I read that?
Oh,
anyway, look it up online. You'll see it on there. It has some kind of plot. But anyway, they've canceled that. But then there was a news that came out saying, "Oh, we may circle around back to that again." I swear to God, I was like, "You guys are fucking."
Adam Driver will be 50 years old. They'll be like, "You want to do that thing where you come back?"
Yeah,
he's like,
we really thought about it. We think it's probably a good idea because we don't got shit to do.
I was gonna do Ben Solo with Grogu.
You know what it is? Like, this is like when Christopher McQuarrie presented the Superman script.
Oh, with Green Lantern.
Because and they were like, "This is really good, but right now we have other plans for Superman, and we're gonna replace him with Supergirl." So, and then it just like, what are you doing? You have content right there. You're such an idiot. Hamada was like, "Oh well, I have my plans." Anyway,
I'm on my way out.
I know. So the hunt for Ben Solo will never come to fruition. Let's move on. Lucasfilm has just announced that a new Star Wars story that stars Cassian Andor and takes place between Andor Season 2 and Rogue One. God. Oh my God, how many fucking holes are we going to try to fit stories into because you fucked up so bad on the sequel trilogy? I'm sorry, that's what this is. They fucked up so bad on the sequel trilogy. They're like, let's just try to punch holes in all the empty spots and fill it with our stuff and let's give them good content. No, okay, so now you're going to lead right up to...
So this is what they're trying to do, not with this Andor thing, but with, like, the Grogu and all that shit, and the Ahsoka and all that. They're trying to make it to where, at the end of the day, when they finally get done with everything that they do, they're hoping that they can reintroduce or get back into the sequel trilogy, like, and go beyond it.
I don't know how.
That is territory that no one, like 10% of mankind wants to see something from the sequel trilogy, and nobody else cares, and they know that. They've tried it. They tried to put stuff out there. Hell, and then they tried to go nuts with like the whole Acolyte crap. They're like, well, what if we go way in the past? And we're like, oh, well, we could foobar the past. Yes, let's try that. Let's and you know what? We can make him kind of look like Kylo Ren. And he could be the first Knight of Ren, and we're gonna make it really weird, and he could be naked, and an old creepy Plagueis could be in a cave watching him and this chick on this weird planet.
Does he look like a bitch?
They don't know what they're doing. They're spinning so many wheels. They're like, I don't even know anymore. But how do we make money? I don't keep giving them Andor and Mandalorian.
Yeah. It's so terrible.
They don't know. They're going back to the well. It's like, how much can this dude? I'm sorry, but this guy's going to start having gray hairs before he gets to Rogue One, where he wasn't gray.
Yeah, it just.
These are prequels where he's aging in reverse.
I mean, if you want to look for a silver lining, you could say, well, at least they finally admitted that the Andor series was probably their best content. So they're like, let's give them more of that because we seem to be able to get that right. We can't get much of anything else right.
I have to say that I, to be honest, I had not finished Andor season 2.
I haven't either. I
can't tell you.
I was planning on doing it this weekend. I don't think I will, but it's on my list.
I don't think I will either.
It's okay.
Hello, no.
So let's move on. Okay, so this is Lars Ettinger has been cast as Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow. It was truly a miracle that it happened in Germany there's secret hope that one day you'll get a call from Hollywood. I'm 50 now, and I thought it was, and then it suddenly happened. So he's got a German accent, I would imagine. Like,
oh my God! So
he's-
Brainiac is like, "Hello, Kryptonians.
I have your minute to yourselves.
We will be asking the questions, Kal-El.
Would you like some schnitzel?
Yes, I
Schnitzel?
put on the worlds. I put them in the capsules.
When I saw this thing, this is what I thought about.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
It's not that I don't care about James Gunn's universe. 'Cause
I
it's
don't
not
care
DC
about James
universe.
Gunn's
It's
universe.
just the Gunverse. It's just kind of like cool. That's cool. I wasn't impressed with Man of Steel. I mean, Man of Steel with Superman.
Yeah. Superman.
And I guess now the title is going to be Superman: Man of Tomorrow, as opposed to Man of Tomorrow. There was this big debate online. I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
Well, it's just like when they called it Superman Legacy, and then they were like, "No, we're just going to call it Superman." And I was like, oh, "Okay, I don't care."
Yeah, well, then you got stuff like this where it's like Superman was the most obsessively rewatched film of 2025 on Letterboxd. I don't even go on that website, so I don't know. And this little douchebag was like, I could say I'm probably responsible for 8 of these rewatches. There wasn't that much to rewatch. I
watched it one more time like a week or so ago.
This
with
guy
my
Keith.
daughter.
Movie sucked. Barely made it to the first watch. Sorry to hear.
Upon rewatching it, dude, I could see. Yeah, I'm never gonna watch this stupid film again.
It was really
It is
dumb.
dumb.
It
It
was
is a
dumb.
dumb film.
It's a stupid film. It just sort of like the story was all over the place.
There was no story. There was no story. There was no arc. It just went from I don't like watching my parents, my Earth parents. I don't like them, but I like my Kryptonian parents who I never met. Now I don't like my Kryptonian parents. They're assholes. So I like my human parents now. That's the story.
Yeah, and then the human parents are like, take over the world. You will have many wives, and it was just kind of like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Are they Islamic extremists? You know what I mean?
It reminded me of that scene from Coming to America. It was like, go to America, sow your royal oats, see the world. You know, just
but the part where he says, take many wives, it was like, okay, now you're taking a shot
yeah.
at like Muslim or Islamic people who do that. You know, they're like, oh, we're monsters again. It's just kind of like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, they are, but
It's funny because the other day I finally finished watching Peacemaker season 2, and
Oh,
even
really?
that
What
had
was
some
the first one?
stupid shit in it where I was like, "What are you doing, James Gunn?"
I could have told you that without watching it.
I know,
I haven't
but
seen any of the Peacemakers.
but there's some dumb shit that happens at the end. It's just, and the writing itself, like James Gunn has his little quirks where you can tell when he writes it, he's like, "Oh, this is so good. I think it's so funny." And then when you watch it, you're like, "This is stupid. What do we?
Yeah.
Can we get past this?" And he can't help himself. In fact, I'll say this: my kids who are 7 and 10, okay, say what you want, okay, you can parent the way you want to parent. My kids have not watched the newest Superman. Why? Because they fucking swear and they say like weird shit in the movie. I'm like, I don't want my kids watching this. I don't.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
And
You
then,
know,
like,
there's
you
certain
know-
things that, like, you know, kids just, I mean, you know, they're that young. They don't need, like when the Dark Knight came out and in theaters and my kids were young. I was like, you know, because of the whole pencil in the brain through the eye socket, I was like,
Pinky in the brain.
yeah, pinky in the brain.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, we'll wait until they're older. And, you know, of course, you know, they snuck around me and, you know, they watched it on their own when it, you know, was available on, but I never took them to the theater to see it.
No.
So
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And they swear multiple times throughout the movie. And it's kind of like, look, dude, either you swear or you don't. Figure it
Yeah.
out. Don't sprinkle it in just because you like swearing, you like crude
Mhm,
humor. Just have a fucking standard.
yeah.
And then people were asking about Paradise Lost, which was supposed to be like the Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman.
Didn't they cancel that?
Well, that's what everybody thought. And then somebody asked the question. They said, "Is it true that Paradise Lost is shelved?" He said, "Definitely not. Jesus, I go on Threads for the first time in weeks, and and it's just one insanely wrong thing after another. What's going on?" Like, okay.
No,
Shut
that has
up.
been something that has been for a while that people have said, hey, you know what, this is definitely not on the slate anymore. Especially since Man of Tomorrow was never on the slate, and now somehow it is, and also he's writing it himself and directing it.
Of course he is. Of course.
And again, he can't loosen the reins on anything. Like Supergirl is the first thing that you're going to get that's maybe a little bit not James Gunn, but even that is not going to be. I don't have high hopes for that either. I don't. Other than Lobo, it just doesn't really look that good to me. That's it.
I mean, it's just I don't even know anymore. I mean, all the things they talked about, The Authority, Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, Waller, all this shit. Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is your content? And you know what he says when everybody asks him, whoa. He says, well, I'm only going to greenlight it when we have a good script. When the script's good enough to... But that's such
wait a minute. We got Superman. So apparently that's not true, because that was not a good script.
That was not. Okay, so before we finish this little topic here, let's invite on a guest. He's a good friend of ours. None other than Mr. Dawson Weidrich. Here we go, baby.
Dodson, we've got Dodson here. See, nobody cares.
Oh,
that's the most accurate clip.
We still got it. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How's it going, guys? Long time no see. Hope you guys
Seriously,
are doing well.
We're talking about James Gunn's DCU of all things, and how we feel it's really dumb. And like, we have the slate, and we saw nothing of that slate. Like, we've only seen bits and pieces of it. It was almost like, why did you even create the slate if you weren't even going to really do anything with it?
For it to sell. It was it was sales purposes only. It was like, hey, this is what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sales and also
fucking
just trying to
Lanterns,
hype people up, you know.
How long has that taken, dude? I'm tired of waiting on Lanterns.
They're filming that already. Or they may have already finished.
They should have
filming
been done. That should have been like years ago finished.
So out of all of these, you got Creature Commandos, Superman, which then it was Superman Legacy.
Sucked.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked. Lanterns, which is soon to come out, and Supergirl. Everything else is like, where's all that?
Yeah, like I keep looking
Thing?
at that Swamp Thing project. Like, that's the only one that really got me interested from any of this. We have heard jack squat about it. Well, of course, that and the Batman Part 2, but
yeah,
everything else is like, well, I mean, there's even whispers of not even getting a Batman until like, I don't know, 2030 or something. It's just ridiculous.
Well, and then he recently came out and said that he wasn't going to make The Brave and the Bold until he's done with the Batman series. Which is like,
I'm sure
if that's the case, that's like in 10 years. Who knows how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
I don't think they're making a trilogy, man.
I think they are.
I don't think I think that he's saying that because he knows that this next one, Matt Reeves, is probably finished. So it's going to be 2 movies from Matt Reeves with the, and the Penguin series that he had.
It wouldn't surprise me if they make the Batman Part 2 and then that one ends not on a cliffhanger, just kind of the movie just kind of ends, and so it gives them the ability to say, okay, we're done, we're going to walk away now. We're not going to make a third one. I mean, because the first one ended, and I guess you could have said that could have been end of story right there, but they decided to make a Part 2. Most Part 2s have a lead in to Part 3. I feel like this one's not. This one's going to have a dead
this one
set
will be
ending.
a contained story.
Yeah, contained story, and then it'll be their choice if they want to make a third one or not. But
yeah, no, I really hope they do make a third, but I think you guys are right. I think they'll make the second one, and I think there's been a lot of things going on with rumors of Matt Reeves' health, and then, of course, dragging their feet on getting the second one made, and by the time a third one would actually get into production with Robert Pattinson, I mean, he'd be in his, is he already in his 40s?
They're going to do a Dark Knight Returns for when he comes back,
I mean, honestly, at this point, that's what it sounds like, and so,
well, when you look at Matt Reeves, like Matt Reeves is making movies in the same fashion that they made movies like in the 90s and early 2000s, where it takes 3 to 4 years to develop and create a movie. Well, these days everyone's like, bam, we got to get it out. We got to get it out. We got to get it out. But we've seen what happens with that. The quality, especially in the writing, is fucking terrible. So we'll see what happens with that. I wanted to share this with you guys real quick. This is another little tweet that or post, whatever the fuck you want to call it, or I wanted to share with you because it goes back to the DCEU of all things. It says here, This guy says, I feel like Black Adam should have been the villain in one of the DCEU movies. Yeah, he should have been the villain of Shazam 1.
Yeah.
At the very least, Shazam 2.
No crap, Sherlock. Absolutely. I mean, that should have been a given, but freaking Dwayne Johnson's like, I want to be like a darker hero. It's like that's not who Black Adam is for the most part. He's a villain. There's a reason why he was created. It was to be a villain for Shazam or Captain Marvel when he was first, made. But it's like, no duh.
It wasn't the most horrible movie. They had some really stupid things in there.
Yeah.
But what would have made it better is if he had actually gone full villain.
Yes.
And the reveal at the end was not that it was his nephew did something wrong. It was that he killed his nephew or something like that. Something irredeemable that makes him the villain. And he could, he could go toe to toe with these other, huge characters or whatever. And just, it wouldn't be hard for Darkseid to sort of say, hey, you know what? We don't really see eye to eye on everything, but, I definitely want to utilize you to do X, Y, and Z or whatever. And it would have been the thing that makes a lot of, this type of fiction great is the villains. It's not the heroes. The villains have to be strong enough for the hero to somehow overcome.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a good story. And that's what these people don't understand is that in Superman with James Gunn, Lex was a joke and he wasn't a formidable foe. In Man of Steel, Zod was a fantastic foe.
Yeah.
In BVS, which we'll get to, you had Doomsday, which really was a very huge misstep and just not
the main
not
foe
a formidable
was Lex
foe.
Luthor, but
even Lex Luthor, I liked his plan, but the execution of all that just kind of it was a little bit too muddy, and then we didn't really even get to Darkseid. Steppenwolf was great, but not in the version that everybody got to see, so nobody cared. He wasn't that great of a villain in the theatrical version, which is the reason why nobody gave a crap about the Justice League movie, because it was like, how is he a threat? We don't care. But I mean, if you look at a lot of these, the movies, you'll see that, like Jack Nicholson's Joker was a great foe. Batman had to step up to, and that's why that, even that old movie, had weight to it, because they had, the headliner Jack Nicholson going up against, Michael Keaton, who everybody thought was like, just Mr. Mom. So, but yeah. So anyway, I'll give the reins back to Andre. Came back from where he left.
Yeah, I had to go pee. So thanks for inquiring.
So you made good. You made good.
I made good.
What are you asking right now?
This is what you ask your kids.
That's the sign for.
Did you make good?
I didn't take a shit. I just had to go pee.
No, but you're absolutely right. It goes back to the whole, statement of a movie is only as good as its villain, right? And when you are in an age like, I look at Black Adam and I kind of see it as almost DC's attempt at their own like Venom movies, where you take a historically, villainous character and try to twist it to be more of a hero. And again, Black Adam kind of failed in that way. And like you said, Black Adam wasn't a terrible movie. Like, I enjoyed plenty of parts about it. And I was, kind of surprised by Dwayne Johnson's portrayal to an extent. But overall, it just didn't captivate anyone because the villain, Sabak sucked. I mean, the CGI for him was just awful. And also the motivations were just terrible.
Yeah.
But not allowing villains to be villains. It feels like and Disney falls in this category too.
Yeah.
Villains, even traditional villains, have to be redeemed in some way. And it's like, no, they do not. Villains can just simply be villains. You can have motivations that maybe people can find somewhat relatable, or make it to where they're a tragic character and that's why they're villainous. But let villains be villains. Otherwise, things just get a little too muddy. There's no statement being made, and there's no real adversary to overcome for the main hero of the story.
Yeah, Black Adam was a big mess. Has some good parts to it though. Love Aldous Hodge.
I mean, the fact they had Painted Black like playing while
for that one sequence was
pretty fun. It was stupid, but it was fun.
It was ridiculous though. But there was the worst thing about it was the kid. Like a kid.
He
was him riding it on a skateboard with like the people behind him, like, oh, let's go, I'm gonna save the day. It's like, this is the dumbest shot ever conceived.
But also
So
his
dumb.
the kid's interaction with Black Adam. I was like, you don't need to have this interaction. You don't need to have this. He shouldn't be attainable like that. You know, you don't need to have that sort of connection. That it ruined it. It made it worse, and it just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good. It wasn't a good movie at all.
No.
So one of the things
And the Flash had a shit villain too.
Well, he barely even knew who the frick he was. It's like, oh,
There you go.
It's the other version of Barry in the future. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Very bad.
Cool.
I mean, you couldn't connect. See, the thing is, you have to know like who the adversary is and what the hero has to do to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, there's nothing really to look forward to. You're just watching a day in the life of these characters. And
I mean, literally in that movie, the villain just killed himself. That's all.
Pretty much.
The villain just killed himself.
Which
Pretty
one?
much.
The Flash.
I'm serious, dude. I looked online the other day and it was like, the Flash really gets all this undue, hatred and all this other stuff. It was hate bombed, and I was like, no, it's a bad movie. But I was reading the comments, and they were like, yeah, you're right, I love it. And I'm like, dude, who are these people, and how are these people?
They're bots.
Bad
Narratively and visually, the Flash just fails in so many ways, and it's just one of those where you can tell that the studio had no idea what they were doing. The director's just kind of playing with things as he was being given notes, and they just kind of put it together and said, okay, let's just release it. Hope for the best. Michael Keaton, you're in there. Cool. Make us money. And of course it didn't, because it just was not a well-conceived film from the get-go.
Yeah. I think Michael Keaton was the strongest thing about the whole film.
And that's not saying much in my opinion.
He's just, he was, and I think mainly because I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with him.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They didn't, treat him horribly. And Supergirl, she was just there. Didn't really make an impression on me. I could care less. She did a better job for, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in their other movie they just released on Amazon or Netflix.
The Rip.
Yeah, Rip.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in that.
Yeah, she was
a big part of it.
Safe house lady.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I didn't know.
Okay, so before we get to our main topic, I wanted to bring this up. Have you guys seen all of like the crazy Sea Dance 2.0 AI that's out there? It's absolutely incredible. I know Ryan's been obsessed with it. He's been like jerking off to it. But here we go. So this is Superman versus Darkseid. Have you seen this one? Ryan, I'm sure you've seen it like 7 times.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
This is already better than the James Gunn's DC.
But Ray didn't say anything at all.
Well, it's funny because like the characters themselves like look visually good. It's just the background and atmosphere changes all the freaking time.
Well, yeah,
and then
I mean, look,
you have it where like they're shooting their heat vision at each other, and they hit each other in there. Then suddenly they're on the ground again. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, it's just editing.
Well, that's his editing. I mean, like, so if they're all I'm saying is that like what regular people can make right now is pretty insane. You have this other one. Where is it?
Keyword
the robot. Well, the thing is that look, AI is here to it's here, and there's no getting rid of it. There's no going back.
Right.
Either use it to your advantage, or you're gonna get lost in the mix.
I mean, this one has a whole bunch of AI fuck ups too.
Yeah,
it's the concept of it is pretty cool, but there's some weird shit. Like what? Why is it Spider-Man? Why is
I
that?
regret not bringing bread or a bag of melon seeds.
Tom Holland's voice, the Andrew Garfield suit.
I think you should teach him a lesson.
What? Like what? Like he's shooting out of his like nostrils?
That's just so odd. Why are they using their hands?
I know. Why does he have a rocket? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, hey, don't ask. That's awesome. Let's go. Okay.
What I think is funny about these though is that like in all the ones that I've seen, they're all Henry Cavill Superman. I've never seen one of these with David Cornsweet Superman.
Is true. That
And
is true.
and the only thing I like out of all the ones I've seen with Henry Cavill Superman is that you get to see more of him fighting as Superman, which is like that would have been a lot cooler to see more of him fighting.
The reason why you don't see David is because he's currently the active Superman or whatever, and there may be some sort of copyright thing that the program won't do. It's like, oh, it's copyright, whatever. Because there are certain things that AI will not do. When I'm just doing this shit for fun, it's like, no, you can't use this, copyright protected, whatever. And I'm like, even with my own shit, I'm like, but I'm the owner of this content. And it's like, oh, you are? Oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So then I think maybe another possible explanation is, there was technically 4 full movies with Henry Cavill Superman. So there's more images to access for AI to reference rather than just the one with David Cornsweet.
It really only needs like a 360. It doesn't need more reference than that just to come up with these sequences, because it has references in like all the Marvel.
That's how
movies
Ryan made the Nephilim.
That's how I made the Nephilim. Just I didn't even draw it.
You're such an expert at using AI.
But I think that this thing, what it can do, or what they can do to their advantage is, this is what normal people can do. Remember what they were talking about with like, Luke Skywalker, all the deep fake stuff when you saw the, the Luke Skywalker, the Princess Leia from Rogue One that looks horrid now, or the Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, which looks, I guess I haven't seen it recently, but I mean, everybody was complaining like, oh, you could tell that was the guy from Harry Potter.
But it's still pretty decent for that time.
But it was decent. It was decent for then. But what I'm saying is with the AI, there's a lot of that stuff that you can utilize that will help that sort of situation or whatever. And there's a lot of things that you don't need to spend a lot of time resources rendering CG or whatever. Yeah, they're gonna have to render it at higher resolution. But like there's a lot of things, a lot of practical effects you don't have to do anymore. A lot of action sequences that can be done now without having to make rigs and all kinds of stuff. The only thing that it cannot do right now, when I've seen a lot of the Star Wars stuff with like Luke and Beggar's Canyon, all that kind of stuff, is that it can't replicate emotion
yet,
and not yet, exactly yet. But with action sequences and with impossible shots and things that would cost money, it could definitely help out with that, and it could definitely make it look. But look at the Matrix, right? The second Matrix Revolutions, when Neo was fighting a whole plethora of Agent Smith. You go back and look at that now, and it's like, oh, this horrible. But if they were to use the AI, it would be the I forget the actor's name, voice of Megatron. He was also
Hugo Weaving.
Lord of the Rings, Hugo Weaving. All of them could look alike, and look just like him, and it would be very believable to the eye. So
Efe, what is a plethora?
Could it be that?
All right, this is the last one we're gonna watch because this is an actual trailer somebody made.
Oh my god, we're not even at the damn topic yet.
I know, but I want to show us one. This is the Batman with Ben Affleck. So let's check this out. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, with Deathstroke. Yeah.
The fight is horrible, but it's cool to look at, but it's horrible.
I walked in that night thinking it was just another room.
She's got big old hands.
It happened.
A lot of meat.
Almost all at the same time. Like a ripple moving through the room. I just felt it. He didn't unmask you in a cave. He did it in daylight.
The helicopter looks hella small.
You were never only Bruce Wayne. This wasn't about exposure or revenge. Someone's
moving pieces. And they've been doing it for a long time. They want you to feel surrounded. That's when you're most dangerous. See, Bats? Everyone's watching now. Good.
Good job, Matthew.
That was cool.
That was.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the fist fight that Batman and Slade
I know
had.
you're talking about, but this one, when I saw it, I was
That's
like, that was
pretty
actually
good.
really cool. That was cool.
I dug it.
And because Affleck's Batman is so stoic, it was easier to use him because he didn't have to get all like, "What's going on?" You know, he had to show a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
So again, bad dialogue, yeah, pretty much, but still, it was pretty cool that somebody made that. Okay.
Yeah.
So finally, we move on to our main topic, which is fixing the SnyderVerse. Now, a lot of it, all three of us are big fans of the SnyderVerse. Now, I'm not saying that SnyderVerse was a huge fucking failure in my eyes. I loved it, but there were aspects of it and angles of it that just did not sit well with a lot of the common folk. You know, the everyday fans. And it got a lot of backlash. So when we look at it as a whole, now we could do Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League all at once, but or individually, but I think we should do it all at once and just kind of talk about it in general. What went wrong with the SnyderVerse and how could it have been better to appeal to a wider audience? I guess we start with the beginning of Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is a great movie. I love almost every bit of it. I would have loved for them to kind of dive into it being a larger universe, but back when they made it, they didn't know. They didn't know it was going to be a big universe. So to me, there's not a lot of issues with Man of Steel. I love this movie. I think it's well written. It's well acted. It's everything about it. It's a near flawless film for me. But Ryan, Man of Steel, the SnyderVerse.
Yeah.
What's some things that they could have changed?
For me, there was a couple things that I would have changed. I would have done some things differently with Man of Steel. I think for the most part, you know, it's a good film. It's enjoyable and it does have rewatchability for me. Number one, I would have just had him call him Superman. When it was some sort of mic failure or some crap when they were in the interrogation room and she was like, yeah, the S on the chest, yeah, it's hope and this, that, and whatever. And she was like, oh, like Superman. And all of a sudden you hear, or something happened and there was like a mic failure. And I was like, just call him Superman. It's not a big deal. I think that the way that Kevin Costner died, I think that it would have been more, it would have meant more if he had died from the twister, but also the heart attack. I think that's something that is it's just something Cal can't do. I don't care that there were bystanders, you know, if he could run faster, if he could move faster, whatever. There was too much chaos, all that, whatever. I thought that the dog in the scene, you know, was pretty good, but then the dog, you know, ran off and he was kind of, you know, trapped or wwhatever, but I wouldn't have cared if he had, you know, been saved from the tornado. I thought that him just standing there, that wasn't stoic. That wasn't for me. I understand the reasons for it. I totally get it. I think that if you take something out of his control, like a heart attack, something he can't fix, with all of his strength and all of his abilities and everything that makes him special, I think that is. It weighs so much more than just, you know, like what father's gonna be like, you know, yes, come save me, right? Like if my son, you know, saw me in a burning building or something like that, I'm not gonna be like, get up here and get me down. I'm just like, nah, dude, save yourself. I get it, but I think that, you know, if Henry's Superman, just like, you know, I know, you know, like don't give me that look. I know exactly what that means, and then like, you know, maybe did something else to, you know, or ran off or whatever, and then flew around from the back or ran around from the back because maybe he didn't know how to fly yet. I think that would have been a lot better. And then just take him somewhere, you know, or run after the dog or something. They could have done. There's so many different things that you can do. I think that a lot of fans had an issue with that.
So his death, I would agree, is very controversial. One of the things I wanted to bring up before we got to Dawson was the Codex being like a fucking Neanderthal or whatever the fuck skeleton,
some
or
monkey
skull,
monkey skull that we never heard from again.
We never heard from again. We didn't know what it was. It was just kind of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
There was a few things they left. Kind of like they pulled a J.J. Abrams where you had the skull, you didn't know where it came from, and then it was put into him, and it was just gone. That and the pod, the open pod in the ship, they never got back to that.
Or whatever. Nobody knew. I mean, it was fine that it was like, oh yeah, that builds intrigue, but it was never addressed any other time that he had a film.
Addressed.
And it wasn't even in lost footage. It wasn't even in things that he had shot, and it was like, oh, that wasn't included. He just never came back to it. He just never explained it, and so a lot of people, which I agree, is like, what was the point of it?
Well, so, I mean, we know what it was later on, is that was supposed to be.
We know what it was. Same thing with the Doomsday.
That was supposed to be Hippolyta. But like once that idea was scrapped, it's like that whole story beat was scrapped. And it was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll never really find out. It's kind of like, where did Maz Kanata get the lightsaber from? We'll never know.
That's a story for another time, which they're still trying to develop, which they're putting on hold. That's the Ben Solo
which
film.
By the way, whenever a book or movie says the words "a story for another time," you're never going to hear about it again. It's not going to be told another time.
Dead in the water.
That's just them saying, look, there's this thing, it happened,
we're
not going to explain it, don't bother us. That's exactly what that language means.
Another thing that I had a problem with was what I was going to say was Doomsday. I felt that Doomsday being included and being the big bad or whatever was a misstep. I thought if you're gonna reanimate Zod's body, then he should come back as sort of a Bizarro. He should not come back as a Doomsday. And because I think that that did not hit well with fans at all. I know when before the film came out and they showed Doomsday in the trailer, before I even saw the film,
worst trailer ever.
I was like, what are they doing? Why is that being revealed now? And number two, it wasn't Doomsday. And then having Zack say, hey, it wasn't Doomsday. There was actually a moon that was in the first film that no one ever paid attention to, that nobody ever knew. We had to be told that, the actual Doomsday is out there. So if the actual Doomsday is out there, what the hell were we looking at?
It should have just been Bizarro.
Yes, he should have just been Bizarro. And then I would have had Lex Luthor retrofit Zod's outfit to be the mech, suit, and then have him go up against Batman. I would not have used Wonder Woman at all. She could have been there, just sort of like doing her own thing and whatever, and great Easter egg.
She's just dancing in the corner.
No.
Still my own thing.
But she got on a plane, right? And that was that would have been the last time we saw her.
I was fine with her fighting. I thought that was really cool, but
I didn't mind it. But I'm saying we didn't have to have it. The film was called Batman vs Superman. I would have wanted to see, and a lot of people would have wanted to see at least two fights. Like you fight, and maybe one of them gets the other one, and then they reconvene and fight again, and then that's when Lex Luthor opens up his whole diabolical plan and blah, blah, blah. And then they have to, then they band together and all that. And, another thing that didn't resonate with me was Lois threw the kryptonite spear into the water. And then she's like, where's that spear? Oh, it's in the water. Let me go get it. I just threw it. Let me go get it.
Done that.
I was like, no. So that was another thing that I rolled my eyes. Another big misstep.
It's not like she knew that she needed, but
I know, but it was like, fuck you, put it there, dumbass.
As a viewer for a story, for a plot device, that was not bad on Lois, bad on Zack Snyder. And the last thing, which I think was better on paper than execution, was the whole Martha thing. A lot of people have problems with Martha. I didn't realize it until I saw the film as well, that yes, Martha Wayne and Martha Kent, Martha must have been a common name back in the 30s. That must have been common, right? But it was like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing. They could have done it in a different way, like where are you going to you're going to see your mom? Yeah, are you going to see Martha? What do you mean Martha? Oh, that's my mom's name. Oh wow, that's interesting. Just whatever, and just something simple, not something like Martha, I'm fucked up now. I can't even think past Martha. What are you talking about? I'm so screwed up. If their names, if Batman's mom's name had not been Martha, or Clark's mom had not been named Martha, that line is like, save Martha. Batman would have been like, save yourself. Just who gives a shit? Because that wouldn't have messed with them at all.
That was
no. But it was only a point because it had to serve the story. If one of the mother's names had been just different, like Elsie, save Elsie.
But that was the whole point.
But that's not a point.
It is.
It's not a point. If the crux of your story hinges on that being your point, it's a weak point. I think narratively, it's a weak point.
See, I sort of disagree. Like, I think it was actually pretty cool the way that worked out. But the problem is that after he paused and had his little flashback, when Lois said, it's his mother's name. It's his mother's name. There should have been something else that she said. That
his mother's name was Kara.
Like,
done.
He would have been like, it's his mother's name. Lex is playing you. He's been playing all of us, and he's saying something like that. Then he would have realized, like, holy shit, she's right. The problem is that a lot of this is left up to interpretation, and that's where it went wrong. Is because a lot of the general audience, kind of had the Ryan mind and thought, well, that's not good enough. This is dumb. I don't like it, and then it went south. I'm kidding, Ryan. But a lot of people, people these days, they needed to be kind of like spoon-fed to them, explained what's going on. And he didn't do a lot of that.
He kept trying to like drop the hints, right? Even with like,
but you can't do that
Thomas
these days.
Wayne, Martha.
Yeah, he was trying to build it up throughout the movie.
He tried to do that throughout the film, and I was just like, it didn't land. Like I think the execution of it was not good. I think it was better on paper, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna mind fuck everybody with this Martha thing," and I don't think it landed.
Lois needed to add one more line of dialogue that would have that connected all the dots to where he would have realized, like, holy shit, I've been, and really a lot of it comes down to the letter saying, like you heard Lex tell her, you let your family die, like that should have been something that she says to him, like, the letters, you let your family die, that was Lex. And then that would have been like, that would have then made him more realize, like, holy fuck, I'm being played. Like, I've let this completely just blind my vision. Oh my God. Yeah. But it just solely rely on Martha, that was the start of a good point, but it needs some more.
Well, that's why I said the execution of it just did not hit and didn't land for multiple people, and to the point where it wasn't so much. I think that was the biggest thing that people had a problem with.
A lot of people had a problem with that.
Was that it was, like I said, I think it was a good idea on paper because I didn't think about Martha Wayne, Martha Kent. Nobody did.
Nobody.
Right?
I remember in the theater.
No
I was like,
one
oh
did.
yeah,
and that was very interesting. But it was just one of those things where it was like kind of interesting in passing. Like I'm already over it, But I think that they could have done a better job.
What'd you say about my mama?
What'd you say about my mama?
Dawson, let's give Dawson a chance here. Right? You've been talking for like 25 minutes. All right, let's go.
I would say when it comes to Man of Steel, it's probably my favorite like solo superhero film of all time. I have very few problems with that movie personally. And I'm going to kind of approach this as just things that I personally would fix. I'm not necessarily caring so much about the general audience because honestly, like you said, they have to have it dumbed down for them a lot of the time. And I don't really care.
What was that?
Anyway, so with Man of Steel, I don't think I'd really change anything that much. Maybe if I were to add something, maybe show, Cal struggling a little bit more with the decision to kill Zod. Maybe make that a little bit more obvious.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I mean, to me, it was pretty clear that devastated him. That really hurt him a lot to have to do that to his own kind. But make it to where it's a little bit more obvious that people got it, I guess.
Like, don't do this?
Yeah, like that's really it with Man of Steel. With BVS,
I would have done like this to his eyes.
Well, it did show that does hurt. So, like, I don't know. It's interesting. But anyway, but with BVS, this kind of going more on a studio level. If I were to go back, I would, have the studio trust the longer version of the movie.
Yes.
Like, trust the fact that this is Batman v Superman. Like, you can allow it to be a longer movie, a longer runtime in the theater. Just trust your director a little bit more. As far as the Doomsday thing, that one doesn't bother me as bad because they kind of point out that it's a ancient deformity, so it's not as if it makes it to where multiple Doomsdays can exist, which in some ways some people might suggest would dilute the character a little bit, but I think makes it a little bit more scientifically interesting as far as Krypton is concerned. But with that, I think I would make Lex Luthor's plan a little bit more clear, not necessarily have like a monologue where he explains every step of the way, but make it to where it shows more noticeably, like, okay, this is where he steps in here and here. This is the steps that he took to manipulate Bruce and manipulate, Superman and all that stuff. And then when it comes to the Martha scene, I think execution, I can agree they could have executed a little bit better because there's a theme they're going for of, Bruce the entire time just sees Superman as this alien creature that has no humanity in him. And that Martha moment kind of makes him realize, well, crap, he has a mother. He's, in some ways more human than I am. And make that a little bit more clear, because I have the belief that if that scene were in a comic book and we saw the internal dialogue of what was happening, then it'd be a lot more appreciated from viewers. And so maybe kind of explore that a little bit more to where it's, like Andre said, it's not as much up to interpretation, so that people don't leave the theater thinking like, well, he just spared him because his mom's name is Martha. It's like, no, there's more to that, but you do have to interpret that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I'm fine with it because I got to understand what they're going for and what's going on through Bruce's mind based on things that Zack has said and just interpreting it and stuff. We'll make that a little bit more clear. I have no problem with Wonder Woman in the movie. I think the promotion for the movie should have been handled better. Like that trailer you talked about introducing Doomsday should not have had that trailer. Should have maintained the same tone they had from the reveal and other trailers they had before that. And again, just trusted the product a little bit more. And maybe in another way, trusted the audience a little bit more, which might seem ridiculous because sometimes the general audience can be, like you said, you have to kind of spoon feed them quite a bit, even with obvious stuff. Like there's so many movies that I'll watch and I'm like, oh yeah, I see what they're going for. And I'll see people on social media be like, I'm so confused. What happened here? Is like, they explicitly told you, like it was said out loud what their plan was, what they were doing. How did you not? Anyway, I feel like a lot of times general audiences can be.
They're like, I saw Dune twice. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, a perfect example is when they said, Palpatine has returned. Like it was already spelled out for you.
It was so bad. Somehow, Palpatine
not what I meant.
has returned.
Not what I meant. But anyway, no,
but that's a case where it's overly spelled out for you. Like, oh, okay.
But then Poe Dameron said it again. He's like, if you didn't read the crawl, I'm going to say it. Palpatine has returned somehow.
I know it was in the crawl. Palpatine has returned. Or like if you ever watch Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, at one point when they're flying to take on Galactus or whatever the fuck, at the end, the thing is like, as they're flying there, he's like, so wait, let me get this straight. We're flying down there to take on Galactus in the hopes that Silver Surfer. I was like, okay, so basically they're like, okay, so everyone who missed it in the back, who wasn't paying attention, this is what they're doing right now.
Break. This is catching me up real
quick.
Like,
oh god,
hold up a minute.
but I mean, like the whole Martha thing, it's just it was very divisive.
Very polarizing.
So that was a very hard thing, and plus, like when he says "save Martha," it was kind of like, well, why is he saying? That's like me saying like, "Save Sylvia."
Yeah,
it's a little awkward.
I would say, "Save my
it's
mother."
Not awkward. It's not awkward if you don't know who he's talking about. Like, save Charles.
Well, he didn't know, and that's why.
Who's Charles? That would have been my question. Who's Charles? Like, who the fuck are you talking about? And that's
he
why
could have even
I'm saying,
said that.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like the execution was not there.
One thing we should have kept in is because I'm pretty sure there are deleted scenes and sequences where it shows Clark investigating Bruce Wayne because he quickly figures out he's Batman, right? And so make it to where he knows about his parents, and so that's more so him using that information to his advantage. But we didn't get that. Yeah. And so maybe keeping that a little bit so it makes a little bit more sense as to why he says that name.
But again, it kind of feels like a tad bit of like mental gymnastics to make sense of it.
Right. And the point of this is that we're doing is how would you fix it with what your knowledge, right? You have, like you said something earlier about like, well, I after hearing, what Zack said, I shouldn't have to go here and none of the audience should have to go listen to the director like before they go watch the film.
No,
like,
I'm not saying
as a
that.
prerequisite. No, but you said you understood something because you heard Zack explain it.
Combined with seeing stuff in the movie.
Right. But what I'm saying is
General audiences
you had
didn't do
that,
yeah.
but then you had the extra. And so it made a little bit more sense to you because you went and investigated where a lot of other people didn't.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
already
make some things a little more clear, make some things a little more obvious.
Yeah.
Like I explained that. But as far as what else with BVS, I mean, I love the Ultimate Editions. There's not a whole lot more that I would really change. Just again, make Lex's plan a little bit more clear to the audience exactly how he manipulated things. Clean up some of the clunkiness of the Martha scene and keep the sequences that showed Clark investigating Bruce.
Yeah.
That again, it's him more so thinking, quick on his feet, like, oh, if I say this, if I reference this, that'll help. But just a little bit more better execution on that part.
I mean, he could have easily been like, he could have just told him like, save my mother, she's gonna die. Save Martha.
Lex Luthor has kidnapped my mom. Can you at least save her before
Lex
even
has
if you
her.
kill me?
Martha, save Martha. And they'd have been like, what? Then she kind of ran in. It's his mother's name.
Hold on, Alfred.
Alfred, are you listening to this? Oh shit, you were. Damn it. So the Martha scene is something that I think we can all agree on that could have improved on. I thought, like what Ryan touched on earlier, the Doomsday. If you're gonna go Doomsday, go full Doomsday. Don't just go cave troll. Like this is a version of. Just go full Doomsday. Just give him the full look. The spiky beard, the spikes on his hands. Just go full Doomsday and just be like, this is it. Because based on the way Zack's story was setting up, you weren't going to circle back to that again. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I see you're leaving it open to say, hey, look, there was the real Doomsday still out there somewhere that which you find out later on. But nobody knew that then. And he may have known that then, may have not. I think that.
Well, if he put it in Man of Steel, he did.
He did. But at that point, they should have just went full Doomsday. He should have just been full on. Spikes, bone
too
spikes.
Early for Doomsday, though.
I know, but I'm saying if you're gonna make that happen, if you're gonna put Doomsday in the movie,
I
go
agree
full
with
Doomsday.
what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I think
if you're gonna have in the movie, go full blast.
I think looking back on it too, you look at a lot of these things that were left a little open ended. I think, because Zack has pointed out, and there was the big slate of movies that they were gonna make. He pointed out that he was gonna leave things up for other directors to kind of pick things where they were left off, and so I think a lot of that was intentional. Like, oh, there's this thing. You can play around with that. There's this thing you can play around with that. Like once he was done with what he was going to do, he's like, all right, there's these things up in the air. You play around with it, gave you some openings, do what you will. And so like, I would say a lot of that comes down to just the universe just not being completed. And the studio just not trusting in the process.
They did a crap ton of world building and you have an incomplete world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a lot of it boils down to. But,
and BVS was the tipping point in which a lot of fans were either turned off or they were turned on. But they were like, "Yeah, I like this," or "I don't like this."
Toward.
But there were a lot of things that everyone liked. Like the Robin suit in the Batcave. That was really, really cool. I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to know more about that. And I guess we would have if we would have gotten his Batman movie.
Right.
There were a lot of aspects. Even his line where he says, what is it? 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We've seen what promises are worth.
Yeah.
How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way? I mean, it's just enough to where you're like, whoa, I really want to know more about that.
Yeah.
So
I think one other thing would have
points.
really helped it out. And we've talked about this at length, but I really do believe that either you have the Batman movie come out right before BVS, or you have the Batman movie come out right after BVS before going into Justice League, so that you can get a better sense of who this Batman is and sort of attach yourselves to who he is or what he is, instead of just like kind of figuring it out in BVS and be like, okay, well, this is Batman now. Because, I mean, nobody really invested a lot into Ben Affleck. And every single time you saw Ben Affleck again after BVS, it was always worse. So in just his aesthetic. So if you look at Justice League, his costume looked like, his cowl was better in BVS.
Oh, way better.
The cowl in Justice League was crap. And I know that was, still Zack Snyder's film. But still, I liked BVS better. I liked the gray and the black. versus the black and the black, basically, or
and the texture of the suit in BVS is way better too. Like,
and then you go from there, you go into freaking Flash, and it's blue, and it's got fucking honeycomb shit on there, and it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so at what point in time after BVS does anybody care about Ben Affleck's Batman? Because it just keeps getting worse and worse because they keep trying to make him not likable.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, if that didn't work, throw in the Batman movie and give him a weird cowl that Andre absolutely loves.
Loved it. Fucking hated it. It looks like Catwoman's fucking mask. That's what it looks like.
Mask,
it looks like an S&M mask. I was like, I don't like it. I love his suit. The cowl, the part that covers his face, I don't like it. I don't like how it's like a shiny, like weird plastic material that he like. I just doesn't. I don't like it. I never have. I know they're trying to go for that Adam West look with the nose, and it was. I just didn't like it. But everything else I did like. I even preferred. I like the squirrel suit. You know, he's flying in.
Until he hit the bus.
He's alive.
He's alive.
He's fine.
He's alive.
Those guys are fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
But no. The suit was like the suit in BVS was so good for Batman. I mean, it was probably
it's
the best
one that
suit.
people use, like in that thing that you showed, or the other thing with Batman versus Slade. That's the one that people use because no one likes the other ones. They make him look ridiculous. The ears on the Justice League suit look horrible.
Yeah,
ears on the BVS look great.
The BVS suit continues, in my opinion, to be the best suit we've seen in a movie to date. I mean, I like a lot of the suits for different reasons, but that one is just the best one.
I just don't know why they felt the need to change that suit.
Selling more toys.
Selling toys. Yeah.
Selling toys, yeah.
It's upgrade. It's like if every time you saw Captain America in the Marvel movies, they either made him grounded or superhero, and they just kept flip-flopping,
they
his
kept
costume
making him more and more tactical.
It was either vibrant or tactful, right?
Yeah. So I guess we can agree on that the BVS suit's the best one. I mean, looking at Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think if you were to cut that down to like a 3-hour movie, 3.5-hour movie, because I mean, like the one coming out, Avengers Doomsday is going to be 3 hours long, if not 3.5 hours long. So you could still do a 3-hour movie if it's an ensemble, Justice League movie. You could have done that. And it's funny because when you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, it almost feels like it almost feels separate from the other two movies because what is that noise?
Probably a car driving by.
Oh, sorry. What is it? Like
it's
Zack
the
Snyder's
world
Justice League-
engine.
The world engine. They're coming. Zack Snyder Justice League. The
They're
color tones in that
terraforming the
movie
planet.
are so muted to the point where to me it's a little too muted. Like I kind of wanted the colors to be just a little more brighter, not Joss Whedon brighter, but like BVS kind of coloring.
Well, I prefer the Man of Steel Superman suit to the BVS and
Same.
Justice
Oh
League
yeah,
suit.
absolutely.
I think that
100%.
one's way better.
Yeah.
The S is larger. I don't care about the river shit. I like just it was just he looked
It was nice
more
and clean.
imposing. And his hair. I
Yes.
like that his hair was not slicked back, and like when he's flying through the air, it's like moving and all that.
Yeah.
It looked better than what they did in BVS as well as Justice League. So
Agreed.
Well, I think that again, when it comes to Superman's hair, that was a topic of controversy recently on X, which is so stupid. I think in BVS, his hair was the way it was, is because he was going to have the fight scene in the rain
with the water, yeah, I get it.
And so to me, if you had his hair the way it was in Man of Steel, it would just be all like, you know what I mean?
No.
It was bushy, just regular hair.
What you do in that situation is when he has, when he's not in the rain, the hair looks normal, and when he is wet, then the hair looks like it did in BVS. And it was fine. It's fine when he's in a water type situation and they can, clean it up and quaff it and all that.
It was a combination of the fight scene being in the rain, and of course, I think they just wanted to have the slick look because of
Christopher Reeve.
Reeve. I think that's what they were going for again. They're like, let's give him that slick look. He's going to be in the rain anyway, so yeah, that's going to work. I don't like the slick look. I like the Man of Steel look, or even Zack Snyder's Justice League. I like that look as well, where he's not slicking his hair back; it's just there. It's just his hair. And the black suit was more fitting for the movie as opposed to going back to his blue suit immediately.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember we used to always talk about how like why are his muscles so like
accentuated in
in his blue suit, and he did that on purpose because he wanted to change it to black, which is funny in itself.
Well,
but
it also would have looked fine in the blue if they had color graded it the way he color grades his movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was fine. He was prepared either way, and I think the theatrical version would have been blue, and I think that his director's cut for home video, if everything had gone the way it was going or whatever, he would have probably used the black suit. It's possible, so I can't say definitively, but I think that I prefer actually the black suit from Man of Steel. I think that one looks better to me. I like that. I like everything they did in Man of Steel. I think the black suit, it was sort of like the only reason why we got it was because he had so much time that he could spend on it. I think he just would have color graded it instead of had him rotoscope it, because it would have been easier and quicker and it would have been fine. But because he had so much time at his house working on this thing with his editors and VFX people that were assigned to him, I think he was like, "Hey, let's just do it. Let's be different. How can we make my movie look different other than just Batman not being bluish? How can when you look at it, how can you say this is definitively different? How do you do it? You put you put Superman in a black and gray suit, and unfortunately, he had a cape.
Well, I mean, like when you look at his suit in Justice League. The theatrical, it was blue. Like they tried to like tint it like a color of blue, but then when you saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was gray and black, and you're like, oh god, they even tried to make a suit blue. That's how crazy they were to try to add more color to.
They were, and that was unfortunately the reason why Ben Affleck's Batman looked bad is because they made it look blue and gray. And that's how they were advertising it on posters and all that. And that's why in the Muschietti or Andy Muschietti, his Flash movie, they really went blue and gray in that.
Yeah, that was a bad
Well, do you guys remember the ad for Justice League where it was like the really weird white bat symbol thing that happened?
Oh, yeah. But that was like a reflection, right?
Yeah, but like it was way over reflective for what the symbol was supposed to be.
Too much, yes.
Yeah, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, this means he's gonna have like a white symbol in his suit. Does this mean like he's gonna be like
in the snow?
Yeah, in the snow.
In the snow. He's
He's tactical. I think at the end of the day, it's like there needed to be the story itself needed to be a little fleshed out in certain areas because that's where the fans had the hardest time kind of grasping what was going on.
Yeah.
The fact that they removed all the Darkseid stuff out of not only BVS but out of Justice League was a really, really bad misstep on Jeff Johns and all those guys because they took out all of the Darkseid. The only thing you saw was him say for Darkseid. That was it. He hit that one reference, but they took all of his scenes out of the movie, which was like, well, why would you have done that? That was the whole point.
They didn't want it to continue. They did not want to go down that road.
They were trying to.
They just wanted to have they
were trying to end this. They were trying to end the movie and then leave it to where they can go wherever they want.
Well, yeah, because at that point, Joe Manganiello had said they had already canceled Ben's movie at that point, so they were ready to just put this thing out there, try to retrofit it however they wanted, and then just do their own thing.
They were just going to eke along and go with that's why they had a Supergirl movie in mind. That's why they had. I mean, they released a horrible Birds of Prey movie that was shit. It was very horrible. If I remember correctly, it was very bad. And then
I don't think I've ever heard your opinion on that movie.
It was just so bad, dude. And I always told you guys, it's like, man, if they had just taken Ben Affleck from BVS as a barometer and just say, okay, you know what? I've got an action figure. I put him on set. Does he fit with this universe? Because this is his universe. Does he fit in this universe? No, he doesn't. Would Ewan McGregor's Black Max be able to go up against Ben Affleck's Batman?
No.
Hell the fucking no.
No.
It's
and
just
that's
bad.
what was so weird about where they went. And so coming out of Justice League, obviously they fired what's his name, Berg. They fired Jeff Johns. All that bullshit happened, and they brought in Walter Hamada. And then instead of just saying, okay, so let me, I don't know what he was thinking at that point. He was like, I'm gonna do my own thing, because that's what they all want to do, right? They all want to do their own thing, you know. And then that led to just more and more problems. Birds of Prey being the movie, was that the one that came right after Justice League, or was it Aquaman?
Aquaman came out after. Well,
yeah, Aquaman. It did $1 billion.
Aquaman came out, in
December.
Yeah. And they were like, "Whoa, we got so much more money. Let's do Joker.
Let's do Birds of Prey.
Let's do Birds of Prey.
Let's do Shazam."
Shazam wasn't a horrible movie.
No,
Shazam 2 was a horrible movie.
Shazam 2 was terrible.
I still haven't seen the second Shazam movie. I just haven't cared enough.
Shazam 2, at the very least, it should have been him against Black Adam.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Rock thing, but that's where it should have been.
That's just ego, and look, nobody gives a shit about your ego, man. Look at your film; it failed.
It failed. Why didn't Black Adam have hair? Why was he bald? It was just a Rock with a bald head.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you didn't even try. You just threw a suit on and said, I'm Black Adam. Like, okay, well.
Well, at least he was wearing something that wasn't like a cargo, like, gray or brown shirt that he wears in the jungle in every other movie.
I know, right? And then you had Shazam. His outfit sucked. It really went downhill, but I mean, like all the Knightmare stuff I liked from Zack Snyder, but I think a lot of the common fans.
I forgot to even mention that. That was in BVS.
Yeah,
that
they didn't understand
people.
They confused them. They didn't understand what it meant. They didn't understand what they were looking at.
And because another thing that didn't resonate with fans, and I have to say, I know you guys will probably completely disagree with me, and I'm already setting y'all up to disagree with me, but I believe that Ezra Miller was not the best choice for the Flash. I think that what he did was fine.
Yeah.
But I think that I think that perfect casting was Cyborg, perfect casting was Superman, perfect casting was Batman. Mm-hmm. And I liked Aquaman. I liked Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Perfect casting, who knows? I don't care, because I liked it. Gal Gadot, I liked her as Wonder Woman. Perfect casting, not sure, but I liked her anyway. I liked her. She fit well with them. Yeah. And I can't think of any other character right now that I would say that like was perfect casting, but I think that those were cast perfectly. I think that in that group, Ezra Miller is the one that didn't really feel like
he definitely sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah,
he wasn't
Barry.
He just wasn't Barry Allen.
That was the only one that he went away from
any other capacity, like in from watching the John Wesley Shipp television show back in the 80s, or the Flash from the cartoon series, or anything like that with Ben and Henry and all them. I was like, yeah, that's the perfect epitome of what I've been used to. But with Ezra, it was just sort of like a wild card. And another like a misstep, I think, was definitely it was in BVS. Which you had the one shot where he was there and he had like a goatee or some sort of Fu Manchu thing going in his Flash shoot. He was like, somebody's the Lois is the key, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes away and it's like, what was that? But number two, you had him at a convenience store and he just looked like a junkie. He had long hair, beard, and he just looked weird. And then he moved real quick, and I was like, "What?" But that was also another thing that nobody really liked. Nobody liked Aquaman coming up to the cameras like, "Is this a camera? What is this?"
That shot definitely could have been handled better.
That was bad. The only thing that was cool about that was the part that couldn't have been filmed, which was when he shot off.
Yeah, keep that part.
But how did they get that footage?
What do you mean?
Because that was not. How did they get that footage? Because he was at one camera.
You're not being specific here. What are you
all of a sudden, this other camera shows up, like far away of him, like bolting off.
Probably another drone that was in the water.
Yeah, they had two drones.
But it's not. That wouldn't be in the same video file. It would be a different video file because it's a different drone. I'm thinking logically. I'm
sorry. There should have been a second file. Like, who cares?
They probably were doing is they were probably live, like
somebody probably video edited them together.
But again, you guys, because y'all are like coming up with the answers that weren't.
Yeah, but now you're digging into stuff that's like
I'm being critical.
The movie doesn't have to spoon feed every little detail, though.
No. This doesn't have to spoon feed, but it would be nice.
I think if you were directing the movie that one shot had two different scenes, you wouldn't have been like, well, wait, no, he needs to stop.
So hold on. So then there was that.
Yeah, it was like,
and then and then the shot of her with the World War I people that we never saw. No, it wasn't World War I. It was in 1800s.
No, we never.
No, that was
that was
the one with the
Wonder Woman
heads. Yeah.
Yeah, with the severed heads.
Well, we only saw that from Zack Snyder. It wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one in the movie was the one in World War
Was
I.
it World War? Okay.
Where they
Yeah,
took
it had,
You saw that.
It had
So
Chris
that one
Pine
was
and everybody
fine.
else there.
That one was fine because we got an answer to that. But the like I said, I thought that the Flash was the worst of the three. But then you had Aquaman that was just awkward at the beginning. But I just personally believe that they should have hired somebody else to portray the Flash. Even in his own solo film, he was charming in parts, but he didn't resonate Flash to me. He didn't resonate Barry Allen to me.
I agree with that. Like you said,
Yeah.
I think with what he was given, he did fine, but there definitely could have been like better picks for casting for sure.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
I think his outfit was fine, except for the head. I never liked the elongated head. I like aerodynamics. They could have done something more aerodynamic, but for going to that and then into the Flash movie where it was like an egg, that looked stupid as shit.
That was so bad.
But I mean, but they were like, yeah, let's do our own egg shape. But I didn't think that it looked good. It reminded me more of what's that other the villain from the other universe, Johnny Quick. It reminded me more of a Johnny Quick helmet than a Flash helmet. And I like the front of it. I like where it was at his face, but just all this on the side and the back, I was like, no, I'm not a fan of that. Sure. It just made him look weird. The black and the white, okay, cool. You want to go full crimson red, whatever, that's fine.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, do you think he should have had the red lightning, which he later had in the Flash movie?
You mean the yellow lightning?
The yellow lightning.
Red lightning is Black Flash.
So should he have had the yellow lightning?
Sure.
I don't
care.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me either way.
It doesn't bother me either. But I know
one thing I don't
saying,
like is
why is it blue?
Well, the one thing I don't like is I don't like Power Ranger flashes. Like every Kid Flash has his color flash or lightning and Black Flash has the red lightning and Zoom or Reverse Flash has the red lightning.
It suits comics well, but when you're doing live action, like doing other different versions of lightning just kind of looks weird.
It does.
And then I thought that there was a conflict of interest or just a vision. I remember when they were talking to the visual effects guys, they were like, yeah, when he runs fast, we didn't want him to have fast little hands. We wanted him to actually be moving slower the faster he goes. But then when you saw that happen in the movie The Flash, it just looked weird. When he was running all over the water, he was just like, as opposed to just being like,
I think they could have done what Zach always does is slow-mo at times, ultra fast at others. Whatever the situation for the viewer needs to see should be what you go.
But that's what they did in Zack Snyder Justice League, is that at times, he would run slow when you were showing it, but then on backed out shots, he was like, he was running super fast where you couldn't even really see him. And so they made a point to do that in his movie. But
another thing is that, I get it, and it adds a little bit of extra to it. But him doing his little stretches and stuff like that, it's like, bro, just eat a burger. His whole thing was has always been with the Flash has always been just he has to eat so many calories so that he doesn't fall out. So I would have gone that route instead of just like, he's really limber. Look, he can do the splits. But I mean, look, our whole thing is yes, these things, these films that we have, they are things that we enjoy. There is no art that can't be improved upon,
right?
And it's good to talk this stuff out because nobody wants to be like just a yes man, or if I'd been on the set and Zach had said, hey, is this a good idea, I damn sure would have told him my 2 cents, whether it's good or bad. And I'm sure the same thing goes for you guys. Y'all wouldn't have said, yeah, that's a great idea, whatever you say. Like when George Lucas had all yes men around in episode 1 and he was just free reign, and then they got in the editing room, he was like, oh, well, we can't take the sequence out now.
They're like, woo, let's go, George. No,
and they're like, this was
kind of
your
weird
decision.
This is a little odd. A little odd. Hey, you don't like that? You got to talk to George. That was all him.
We called him Annie.
You're gonna name your kid that too. I can't believe it.
I know. He told me I'd been so pissed if you called me Anakin, because then everybody was just like, Annie.
So as we wrap things up, as we wrap things up, I do want to. Okay, you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna keep talking over?
Are we gonna have a show?
I mean, you're talking over me.
Are you
I'm like,
going to
come
be
on.
the host or not? Like, let's step up and. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so as we round things out, I do want to give some time to Dawson to talk about his new project, which is called Glitch, and similar to Ryan's the Nephilim. This is it right here. This is the cover that he sent me over. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting this first issue of Glitch funded on Kickstarter. It's the first of a 3-issue miniseries that I'm doing based on a character that I've had, in my back pocket for about a decade and a half. I mean, I know when we were doing a lot of podcasting stuff together, I mentioned this a couple of times, this idea that I was doing.
Yeah, we tried to warn you against it, but
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, no, I partnered with longtime comic colorist Dan Kemp on this. We're collaborating and talking like pretty much every other day about it. And so he's going to be coloring the book for me. He actually colored this this cover A, which is the main cover you can get with the Kickstarter. And he'll be doing all the interiors. And I even have some sample pages of the interiors that I could probably show off. I don't know if I sent those to you, Andre.
No, you sent me this one. I guess this is an alternate cover.
That is a variant, yes. And that one is
Variant.
colored by a guy named Alonzo Espinoza. He goes by Pixel Tool on Instagram and TikTok, I think, and also on X, I think. But amazing colorist. He's a guy who I honestly am shocked if he hasn't been like published or anything yet, just because he's a fantastic colorist. But that is cover B, and I will show you guys the some of the finished sample pages that Dan Kemp has done for the book, which I'm very, very excited about. I absolutely love this idea. My little brother and I, we created the character years ago, and if people out there are interested in things like a movie like Chappie or Ex Machina, iRobot, Bicentennial Man, this story very much falls in that same genre of artificial intelligent androids and sort of the repercussions of that being allowed to get into the world and the android kind of developing his own individuality, his own interpretation on the world and his role in it. And so I have the pages pulled up here, Andre. I think you just have to share them on your end. But we got this page, of course, 17 of the book, and we get a good look at the main family in the story, the Hemingway family. You got Bill, the father, Rhonda, the mother, and the little girl, Leah, who is, of course, their daughter. And got them, of course, opening the crate. This is about midway through the first issue, maybe a little earlier than midway. And you get a really good look at TY3754, or just Ty for short. He is a live-in android, like assistant android unit, basically like a android butler. And he is being produced by this company called Rivon Tech, as in the year 2065. And essentially, this android is part of a promotional stunt where the company's trying to break their way into more the lower class clientele because, of course, their androids are very expensive to make. It's a very high-end product, but they're trying to basically make it towards the next thing that you are willing to take out a loan for. Like you take out a loan to buy a house, you take out a loan to buy a car, you take out loans to go to college. These are things that are seen as necessities in our modern society. And so what they're trying to do is make this type of android that similar thing and get it into lower income communities, have people see, okay, I need this android in my life. This would be great to have. And so through that promotional stunt, he ends up in the possession of this family, the Hemingways. And that kind of kicks off everything. And one major thing about this android is that he was manufactured without an artificial intelligence inhibitor chip. Of course, it was just some mistake in the facility. And that kind of makes it to where he's able to interpret things happening around him in incorrect ways and kind of form his own ideas of, his importance, people around him, and what his role in the world is. And so again, think Bicentennial Man, iRobot, Chappie, that type of story, near future sci-fi that I think people are going to really love if they're fans of those types of stories. The first issue is 34 pages, and the second and third issue will be about 24 and 25 pages each. And so we'll be close to about 84, 85 pages by the time it comes out in a full volume, whenever that happens. But also got letters done by Nikki Powers, who's done a lot of, Kickstarter books in the past. And yeah, no, I'm very much excited for people to get their hands on this book. We have a lot of different reward tiers, like physical copies, digital copies. I mean, you can get a digital copy as low as $3. and everything else after that builds on that. And you got different, group tiers. Like, you can get different covers. We're actually working on a secret variant cover that will add in with the group book tiers, so as a sort of like add-on reward for people who support the higher tiers of the book.
Nice.
And then I also added the link there for his Kickstarter website that you can go to. Here's a look of it right here. If I can,
absolutely,
remove, and boom, there it is right there. So definitely check out Glitch. Now, is there like a overarching story where Glitch is going to have to do some a bigger thing in this world?
No, there's no overarching story at all, Andre. Not at all.
Like, no, it's just about everyday life living with a white trash family.
No. No.
Get my beer, damn it!
Now, where did you get your inspiration for this white trash family? Is this from personal experience?
No, there is an overarching story.
Are you getting inspiration from the Ziva Fets? He's also got a son. His name is Tam.
Oh my gosh,
as opposed to Matt.
No, but the overarching story kind of is just exploring the I guess long-term or down the road effects of small decisions and small misunderstandings in our daily lives. And so as the story goes along, of course, I'm not going to give away too much of it and not spoil it, but again, he starts to interpret things, and he sort of starts to lose his sense of sanity, right? As everything he understands starts to kind of fall apart, and each assumption he makes ends up being incorrect. He starts to lose, again, that grip on his sanity a little bit. And of course, that has big repercussions for a lot of characters in the book down the road. And the end of the story will leave a little bit to where there could be more story explored, but there is a full-on beginning, middle, end in this 3-issue miniseries.
All right. Well, there we go, guys. Check out Glitch over on Kickstarter. The link is in the chat. Definitely really cool stuff coming straight from Dawson. Both Dawson and Ryan have their own kind of Kickstarter comics.
Yeah, and you got Nephilim fully funded, didn't you?
Yeah, it's fully funded.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Did not get funded on Kickstarter, which I know you backed on Kickstarter, but I had to move since that did not fund on Kickstarter. I had to move it over to Indiegogo.
He's using cryptocurrency to fund himself.
Yeah. Each Bitcoin, it brings me closer to printing. But yeah. So I couldn't get funded on Kickstarter. There was a lot of things going on when I put it up on Kickstarter. I might try Kickstarter again, but after I get done with the first print run of the comic, I'm going to change the cover. I'm gonna make a Kickstarter specific cover for that.
And I saw you got Robert Marzullo involved on one of the covers.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna get him to do some other things, or work with him to do some other things. Here's this if you want to share that.
Because I saw that he inked one of the covers. Is that what happened?
He drew it and inked it.
Okay,
so his cover is the one on the bottom right of your screen, right above now.
Yeah.
So it is available now if you go to zevercomics.com and you just click on get it now. Get this now. Back the campaign. You can back the campaign and get your copy. I have all 4 issues. Yes, Simon Blaze, he did the main cover, which is, well, it's not the main cover, but it's the main cover of this image. So he did the one where Neff is kind of, jumping right out at you. I did the top left and the bottom left. And then another artist by the name of Jamie Reyes did the top right, where he's jumping in front of the moon. Jamie Reyes he was an inker for Dave Finch.
Yeah.
And he's inked a lot of his work before. So I got him to draw and ink a cover for me as well. I colored all of these. I colored all of these myself. I am not what I would consider a comic book colorist, but I would consider myself a comic book colorist now because I had somebody else that we know and all that we all 3 know. He started working on it, and then he kind of disappeared on me. So I had to pick up the reins and kind of learn what he was doing because I wasn't going to redo a lot of his work. But then I ended up redoing a lot of his work, to the point where I've done maybe 90%. How many issues of Nephilim are there? There is one right now, but with 5 different covers. And at the end of the day, there will be 10. So this is a 10 issue story. It's a 5 to get to the 5th is the first story arc, and then to get to the 10 is the overarching story arc, and there'll be like maybe a couple comics here and there that are that are going to sort of kind of branch off and be tangent to this, but the main story is 10 comics. And so yeah, like I said, on this one, it's fully funded. So if you do go to Indiegogo and back the campaign, you will get your comic. I am in the process of making PDFs for the printer. So I'm just going over the the layout and making. I did the proofread of there's the font, or the text and all that. Make sure all the punctuations are correct and there's no misspellings or anything like that. So now I'm just going over the coloring and making sure it's CMYK for printing, and then I'm about halfway done with that. Once I send that over to the printers, I will close the Indiegogo campaign, and that will be it for that run.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you like these covers, if you want one of these covers, please grab it now. It's still open and available. But for Kickstarter and Fund My Comic and the other ones that I'm going to open up, I will do different covers so that there will be some uniqueness, and there won't be you'll be able to say, hey, you know what, I backed this at this, on this site or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm overjoyed with how this thing has turned out. I've already started working on the second book, and have done a lot of concept art as well. So, but yeah, I have the whole story plotted out. I have my website, zebracomics.com. Check that out. I built the website myself on Squarespace with AI assisting with coding, yeah, so I mean, everything works out the way that I've got it all planned. It's gonna be really good, and I do have a plot, so there will be it will make sense.
Did James Gunn write this plot?
No, there are no fart jokes in this.
So what I actually want to do real quick is I'll actually show you, because I also started work on the second issue of Glitch, just to get things going. Oh, yeah. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek at some of the stuff that I've already done for Glitch issue 2. Let me get this up here. I'll show you guys.
Does he have a mustache in this one?
Unfortunately, no.
With long hair.
You would have sold so many if he had a mustache.
No, but
he's going to go add it back in.
He's going to edit it back in. But this is the cover A for what will be issue 2. And
so he's missing an arm?
No, it's hidden behind.
I know.
Yeah, I got you. Come on. So you got the inks done for the first 3 pages.
All right. There you go.
And so I probably shouldn't show this 3rd page just because it's kind of spoilery. But I love this panel right here with Ty, his back towards us and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm already working on the 2nd issue.
Nice.
And Dan's also going to be a part of the 2nd issue. He's been very much involved in the creative process of,
that's really cool.
The colors and design for Ty and the other characters.
Did you draw cornrows? Is that what that is?
Cornrows. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured, because I saw the profile and the front.
Yeah. And of course, those things we like made more obvious with like coloring and stuff. But
just from personal, did you ever have cornrows when you were young?
Look at me. Do you think my hair could do that?
Maybe.
No,
I ain't judging.
No.
Ryan's like, I used to have them.
I used to have them myself.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, each issue will have its own Kickstarter campaign, just so we can like raise enough money to pay Dan for his part. Okay. But no, like I was saying before, it's a culmination of about 17 years of having this character. And my little brother and I made him when I was 12 and he was 5. And so the fact that we actually have like, the script and the artwork done and getting it, with Dan Kemp is just really incredible. And so
you're using the script from when you were 12?
No. The concept is from when I was 12.
Oh, okay. I got
No. I wrote and finalized a script. Well, I started writing the script about 3 years ago, finalized it last year.
Yeah.
And I've been working on the artwork ever since. No, I wasn't going to use something I wrote when I was 12. Are you freaking kidding me?
And then he turned and he blew the girl's face off.
No, that would suck. But yeah, so Glitch issue number 1 on Kickstarter today. Got a lot of different tier options, including digital copies for people who can't afford physical. We are about 44% funded so far, with just over 2 weeks left in the campaign. And so if we can just get as many people to help fund it as much as possible, that'd be much, much appreciated. You'd be literally helping a dream come true. And we're hoping to have copies done and printed by the time I'm at Heroes Con this coming June, which is a huge convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's the goal right now. I even have some like previews that I had printed out for a recent convention.
Oh, nice.
Which are cool. Got the inked interiors as well as like letters and stuff. It's like a digest size preview for the book. We see like a lot of line work that I did, the letters from Nikki Powers, and let's see if I can turn the page here. Yeah, it's got the first 20 pages in this preview. And what's cool is that I had this for a convention, so it's a very convention specific exclusive preview. And I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8 or 9 left. And so what I'm going to do is the first random 5 Kickstarter backers will get this along with their other rewards for their tier. So a nice little added bonus for those who backed the Kickstarter early.
Yeah, well, guess what? Ryan's got George Lucas backing him. He does.
I do with his dementia. He was an easy sell.
He's like, I got Bruce Willis.
I got Bruce Willis. Oh, that's sad.
That's too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
Well, Gina Carano, she's actually back in the mix. She's gonna have a bout pretty soon.
We're gonna have that celebrity clout.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for the show. I want to thank both Dawson and Ryan for coming out here talking about their.
Thanks for having me.
Their indie comics that they're working on, and of course, we talked about some movie news and how we would fix the SnyderVerse. Big fans of it, but there are some aspects we think that he may have missed on that could have helped the universe sort of appeal to a wider audience. So definitely check that out if you didn't check it out before. If you want to support the channel, just become a member down below by hitting the link that says join. Membership start as low as $2.99, and that's the best way to support the channel is become a member on YouTube. So definitely take a look at that. George Lucas with the turkey neck. Yeah. With that being said, you guys, we will catch you next time. Dawson, thank you for joining us this week. I really do appreciate it. Nice catching up with you as well.
Absolutely.
And we will catch you guys next time.